Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to your History and Civics class of the day. We are going to start with a new lesson, lesson number 2, the Executive, Union and States. Executive means the law implementing body of the Parliament. Before starting with the lesson, let us see the objectives that we are going to learn in the entire lesson. We will learn about the Union Executive, the President, powers of the President, and under the powers of the President, we will study about his legislative powers, his executive powers, judicial powers, administrative powers, financial powers, emergency powers, military powers, diplomatic powers, the process of impeachment, the Vice President and his functions, the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers and their functions, and we will study about the civil servants. Let us see the objectives that we will cover up in our today's class. We will learn about the President, his election and eligibility, salary and allowance, powers of the President, and the Vice President. The technical terms in the lesson are: number 1, Executive, the law implementing body of the Parliament. Number 2, Coalition, grouping of 2 or more political parties to form a government. Number 3, Contingency Fund, a fund for emergencies or unexpected economic crisis. Number 4, Discretionary powers, powers which one can use at his or her own discretion or will. Impeachment, trial of high public official in the Parliament for misconduct, corruption, misuse of power, treason, or violation of rules. Next term is pardon, the action of forgiving or being forgiven for an error or offense. Parliamentary system, a system of government where the Prime Ministers and the Council of Ministers are members of the Parliament. Portfolio, different departments of the government, for example, defense and finance. Next, prorogue, discontinuation of a session without dissolving it. Summon, to order urgently a person or group to attend a meeting. Article, a written instrument containing a series of rules and stipulations that are each designated as an article. Children, the government consists of 3 main organs: legislative, executive, and judiciary. Legislature of the Union, which is called Parliament, consists of the President and 2 houses known as Council of States, that is Rajya Sabha, which is also known as the Upper House, and House of the People, Lok Sabha, which is also known as the Lower House. Legislative is the law-making body. They make laws for the whole country. The legislative branch is the most powerful branch in government. They have the power to override a president's decision, stop laws for being passed, and basically control all the decisions the government makes. In this video, we will study about the second main organ of the Parliament, that is the executive. Executive is the law implementing body. If legislative makes the law, pass the law, there should be a body to implement those laws, means to bring the laws into action, and for that, executive is responsible. The Union Executive consists of the President, the Vice President, the Council of Ministers, with the Prime Minister as the head to aid and advise the President. Here is the list of all the Presidents of India from 1950 till 2020. Rajendra Prasad was the first President of India from 1950 to 1962. The second President of India was Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan from 1962 to 1967. Zakir Hussain from 1967 to 1969, V.V. Giri from 1969 to 1974, Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed from 1974 to 1977, Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy from 1977 to 1982, Gyani Jail Singh from 1982 to 1987, Next president, Ramaswamy Venkatraman from 1987 to 1992. Shankar Dayal Sharma from 1992 to 1997. Next, K.R. Narayanan from 1997 to 2002. APJ Abdul Kalam from 2002 to 2007. Pratibha Patil from 2007 to 2012. Pranab Mukherjee from 2012 to 2017. Ramnath Kovind from 2017 till the date. The President is the head of the state, head of the government, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He is the first citizen of the country and acts as the symbol of the integrity of the nation. Who participate in the election of the President? The President of India is indirectly elected by an electoral college. An electoral college consists of elected members of both the houses, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and elected members of legislative assemblies of the states and union territories. For a person to be eligible for the post of the president, he or she must be a citizen of India, be 35 years of age or more, qualify to be a member of the Lok Sabha, not hold any office of profit under central, state or local government, not be a member of the parliament or a state legislature, and as discussed earlier, an electoral college elects the President of India, and the electoral college consists of both the houses of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. President salary in India. The President of India is the highest official in the country and he is also called the first citizen of the country. The President's salary has been increased to 5 lakh per month from 1.5 lakhs. And he is also entitled with many other allowances like free accommodation, free medical facilities, free treatment for the full life. Accommodation. Rashtrapati Bhavan is the official residential place of the President of India. It is situated at the heart of New Delhi. It has 340 rooms and is the attraction to many visitors every year. Medical facilities. President of India is entitled to free medical services for the whole life. Security. Since he is one of the most important officials of the nation, the security is one of the main areas. The President of India is entitled to a black Mercedes-Benz and also has a heavily armed stretch limousine for the official visits. Perks after the retirement. The President of India will get Rs 1.5 lakh per month as pension. The spouse of the President will get secretarial assistance of Rs 30,000 per month, 1 furnished rent-free bungalow, 2 free landlines and a mobile phone, free travel with a companion by train or air. Let us start the reading of the lesson from page 144, the Union Executive. The Parliament makes the law, but it is the Union Executive that carries it out. The executive head of India is the President. The Vice President, the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, the civil servants and various experts collectively execute the laws passed by the Parliament. Civil servants are the employees of the Government of India, for example, IPS, IAS and IFS officers. The President, the head of the state in a republic, is an elected person. Republic means? Republic is a state which has an elected or nominated president. The President of India is an elected person. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the first President of India. India is a republic. In India, the real power lies with the Prime Minister. The President is the ceremonial or the formal head of the country. A ceremonial or the formal head means only a symbolic head of a country, while someone else holds the real power. She or he is elected for a term of 5 years. She or he can be re-elected after the expiry of her or his tenure. Election and eligibility. The president is elected indirectly by an electoral college. The electoral college includes the elected members of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, and the legislative assemblies of the states and union territories of Puducherry and Delhi NCR. Union territories are the areas that are directly governed by the central government. To be elected as the president, a person must have the same qualifications as a member of the Lok Sabha. The only difference is the minimum age, which is 35 years in case of the president. Salary and allowances. The president gets a salary of rupees. Children, here in your book, it is written 1.5 lakh per month, but as discussed earlier in the same video, that now the president's salary has been increased from 1.5 lakh to 5 lakh per month. So please do this correction on your book. She or he is also entitled to a monthly pension after retirement. During her or his tenure, she or he resides in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It is the official residence of the President of India. Next, in this video, we will learn about the powers and functions of the President, like his financial powers, administrative powers, legislative powers, judicial powers, military powers, diplomatic powers, emergency powers. Let us first do the legislative power of the president. He summons or prorogues Parliament. Summon is the process of calling all the members of the Parliament to meet, and prorogation means the termination of a session of the House. Now, what is a session? The period during which the House meets to conduct its business. In India, the Parliament conducts 3 sessions each year. First, budget session from the month January, February to May. Second, monsoon session from July to August till September. Number 3rd, winter session from November to December. Number 2nd, legislative function. The bill becomes an act only after the president has given assent to it. Now, how a bill becomes an act? This we have already done in one of our previous videos of civics. The president can issue ordinance. Now, what is ordinance? Ordinance are the temporary laws which can be issued by the president when parliament is not in session. They enable the Indian government to take immediate legislative action. The maximum validity of an ordinance is 6 months and 6 weeks. An ordinance will expire after 6 weeks once both houses of the parliament are in session. Next, and the most important legislative function of the president is that he can dissolve the Lok Sabha and can order the fresh elections. Now, what is dissolution of Lok Sabha means? In India, the Lok Sabha has a 5-year term, but it can be dissolved earlier when the ruling party fails to show the required majority in the House. A vote of no confidence motion is passed. A no confidence motion is a parliamentary floor test that demonstrates to the ruling government that the elected parliament no longer has confidence in them. If accepted, the ruling party have to prove its majority in the parliament. For a political party to form the government, they must have a majority of elected MPs. Since there are 543 elected plus 2 Anglo-Indians in the Lok Sabha, to have a majority, a party must show at least half the number of the total, that is 272 members or more. And if the ruling party fails to show this required majority, then in that case the president, on the advice of the Prime Minister, can dissolve the Lok Sabha. Page number 144, paragraph, powers of the president. The first power, legislative. The president summons or prorogues either house of the parliament. Summon means to order urgently a person or group to attend a meeting. Prorogue means discontinuation of a session without dissolving it. The president addresses the joint sittings of both the houses of the parliament or each one of the houses separately. A bill becomes a law only after the President's consent. Consent means to give permission for something to happen. During the time when the Parliament is not in session, Parliament is not in session means that there is no session of Parliament or no meeting of Parliament of both the houses. The President in that case can issue ordinances which are like temporary law. Ordinance is the temporary law passed by the President when the Parliament is not in session. She or he can also dissolve the Lok Sabha and order the fresh elections. Number 2. The executive powers. All executive actions of the Union is taken in the name of the President. Though he is not the real head of the administration, all officers of the Union are his subordinates, and he has a right to be informed about the affairs of the government. In order to run the administration, she or he makes several appointments. The President has power to appoint: Number 1. The Prime Minister and other ministers shall be appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. Attorney General for India. Attorney General is the Indian government's chief legal advisor and is primary lawyer in the Supreme Court of India. The judges of the Supreme Court, the governor of the states, election commissioners. The Election Commission of India is a constitutional authority responsible for administering election process in India at national and state level. The President of India also appoints members and chairmen of Union Public Service Commission, that is UPSC. Now, what is Union Public Service Commission? UPSC exam, also known as IAS, IPS and IFS exams. IAS stands for Indian Administrative Service, IPS stands for Indian Police Service, and IFS stands for Indian Foreign Services. If President of India has the power to do several appointments, then on the other hand, he also has the power to remove the ministers under Article 75, the Attorney General of India under Article 76, and the governors of a state under Article 156. Page number 145, Executive Powers. The President is the symbolic head of the country. Symbolic means someone who appears to be in charge. All administrative decisions are taken in her or his name. In order to run the administration, she or he makes several appointments. The leader of the majority party as the Prime Minister. Majority party is a political party having electoral strength to win a control of a government. Number 2. The Council of Ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. Council of Ministers are usually composed of those ministers who are responsible for a ministry. Number 3. The governors of the states. Number 4. Lieutenant governors and administrators of the union territories. Next, Chief Justice and the judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts are also appointed by the President. Chairmen and members of the Union Public Service Commission, the Planning Commission and the Finance Commission are also appointed by the President. Judicial powers. The President enjoys judicial powers as well. He has the power to grant pardon, the action of forgiving or being forgiven for an error, reprieves. Reprieves means cancel or postpone the punishment. Suspension. Suspension means the action of suspending someone. Remission of a punishment sentence by court-martial. Remission means the cancellation of a debt, charge or penalty. And court-martial is a judicial court for trying members of the armed forces who are accused of offences against the military law. The President's pardon could be sought for any death sentence. Judicial immunity to President. The President enjoys the judicial immunity. No criminal proceedings can be initiated against the President during the term in office. The President is not answerable for the exercise of his or her duties. Page number 145, the judicial powers. Judicial means pertaining to judgment in courts of justice. The President holds the power to grant pardon or reduce the sentence of a person convicted of any offense. Convicted means having been declared guilty of a criminal offense by the verdict of a jury. She or he can pardon even a death sentence. Pardon means the action of forgiving or being forgiven for an error. She or he is not answerable before any court of law. Court of law means a place where trials and legal cases are decided for the discharge of his duties. The administrative powers of the President. We have already discussed in the executive powers of the President that he plays an important role in the appointment of the Prime Minister. In fact, every appointment of the Union government is made in the name of the President. He directly administers the Union territories through administrators appointed by him. Have you ever asked yourself this question, that why the Union territories were formed and why do they specifically comes under the central government or the President rule? As per the Constitution provisions, during independence, the Union territories were either not a part of India or they were too small to be made into a state. Further, the States Reorganization Commission in 1956 recommended generating a different category for these territories named Union Territory. At that time, it was observed that these territories were economically unbalanced, financially weak, administratively and politically unstable, so they cannot survive as separate administrative unit. It is necessary for them to be depending on the Union government. And that's how they come under the Union government or the President rule. How many states and union territories are there in India after Article 370? This is my question to you. Please leave your answers in the comment box. Page number 145, the administrative powers. The President plays an important role in the appointment of the Prime Minister, but this selection is restricted to the leader of the party in majority in the House of the People or a person who is in the position to win the confidence of the majority in that House. It means formally the President appoints the Prime Minister. The President appoints the leader of the party in majority in Lok Sabha as Prime Minister. In the case of no majority, the President can exercise his own discretion in the appointment of the Prime Minister. In such a situation, the President usually appoints the person who is in a position to win the confidence of the majority in Lok Sabha and ask him to seek a vote of confidence in the House within a month. She or he also appoints top-level officials of the Union government. She or he also selects ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. The President also appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts. The administration of the Union territories is directly controlled by the President. Next is the financial powers. The annual budget has to be placed to President before introducing in the Parliament. Annual budget means an estimation of revenue and expenses for a 12 months period. A money bill can be introduced in the Parliament only with the President's recommendation. Money bills are concerned with financial matters like taxation, public expenditure, etc. The President can sanction advances out of the Contingency Fund of India to meet unforeseen expenditures. Contingency fund means a fund for emergencies or unexpected economic crisis. Reading of financial powers on page number 145. The annual budget and the supplementary budget are presented before the Parliament in the name of the President. Annual budget is an estimate of revenue and expenses for a 12 months period, and supplementary budget is the request for additional funds by ministries and departments during the course of the year. No money bill can be introduced in the Parliament without her or his consent. She or he can also sanction money from the contingency fund. Money bills are concerned with financial matters like taxation, public expenditure, etc. Emergency powers. The President can exercise his emergency powers in the three types of emergencies: national emergency, state emergency, and financial emergency. National emergency is imposed by the President on request by the Prime Minister's Cabinet of Ministers. Article 352 of the Indian Constitution states that an emergency can be called in the event of danger to the national security due to war or external aggression. Number 2. State emergency. State emergency is often referred to as President's Rule. State emergency is declared under Article 356 in the event when the state government collapses and the constitutional machinery fails. What is the meaning of the failure of the constitutional machinery in the state? It is the duty of the central government to ensure that the government at the state is working in accordance to the constitution, and if in case the state government fails to do so, then center takes over the state as per Article 356. This is called President's Rule. The state emergency can be imposed for a period of 6 months and can last only for 3 years. The third type of emergency is financial emergency. Financial emergency is imposed by the president if he reckons financial stability of the country is in danger. Under financial emergency, the central government gets the right to cut salary of central and state government employees, including judges of the court. All financial and money bills will require approval of the president. Page 145, Emergency Powers. The President, on the advice of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, can declare a state of emergency under following circumstances. If there is an internal crisis or civil war-like situation in the country. Internal crisis means a time of great disagreement, confusion or suffering within the country or state. Civil war means a war between the citizens of the same country. Number 2. If there is an external force threatening the sovereignty of the nation. Number 3. If there is a threat to the financial stability of the nation. When a state faces the breakdown of constitutional machinery, the president takes over the rule of the state. This is known as the President's Rule. Military and diplomatic powers. Military powers. Article 53 vests the supreme command of the armed forces of India in the President. President of India can declare war or conclude peace under the regulation by the Parliament. Diplomatic powers of the President. India is represented on international forum by President of India. Forum means a meeting or medium where ideas and views on a particular issue can be exchanged. He sends and receives ambassadors. All international treaties and agreements are concluded on behalf of the President. Page number 146, reading from the military powers. The President is the supreme commander of the armed forces. She or he appoints the heads of the 3 wings of the armed forces. And the 3 wings of the armed forces are Indian Army, Indian Navy, and the Indian Air Force. Next power. Diplomatic powers. Diplomatic means able to deal with people in a sensitive way that does not upset or offend them. All international agreements and treaties are concluded in her or his name. Treaties means a binding formal agreement, contract between 2 people or 2 countries. The President receives and sends ambassadors. Ambassadors, a diplomat sent by a country as its official representative to a foreign country. She or he also represents the country at international forums. Forum means a meeting or medium where ideas and views on a particular issue can be exchanged. Let us quickly recall the powers and the functions of the President done till now. We have read about administrative and executive powers, financial powers, emergency powers, diplomatic powers, military powers, judicial powers, and legislative powers. Next is the process of impeachment. The process of removal of the President, judges of Supreme Court and High Court from their term of office is known as impeachment. The President of India can be removed only on the grounds of violation of Constitution of India by a charge initiated against him by either house of the Parliament. The procedure for impeachment is laid down in Article 61. Page number 146, Impeachment. The Indian Constitution provides a procedure to remove a president from her or his office in case she or he is found guilty of corruption or treason. Treason means the crime of betraying one's country. It is mentioned in our constitution that the president can use her or his powers only with the aid and advice of the prime minister. When the president bypasses this, she or he is subjected to impeachment. The Vice President. The Vice President of India is the second highest constitutional office in the Government of India after the President. In accordance with Article 65 of the Constitution of India, the Vice President discharges the functions of the President when a situation arises due to the resignation, removal, death, impeachment, or the inability of the President to discharge their functions. Vice President is also known as the ex officio chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. The Vice President is elected by an electoral college consisting of all the members of both houses of the Parliament. Once elected, the Vice President continues in office for a 5-year term, but can continue in office irrespective of the expiry of the term until a successor assumes office. There have been 13 Vice Presidents since the inception of the post in 1950. The first Vice President of India, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, took oath at Rashtrapati Bhavan on 13th May 1952. Out of 13 Vice Presidents, 6 of them later went on to become the President. Krishnakant has been the only one to die during his tenure. On 11th August 2017, Venkaiah Naidu was sworn in as the 13th Vice President of India. Page number 147, the Vice President. The Vice President is elected by the members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The qualifications of a Vice President are similar to that of a President, except that the candidate should be eligible to become a member of the Rajya Sabha. Candidate means a person who is nominated for elections. The tenure of the office of the Vice President is 5 years. She or he performs functions of the President when the President is absent from her or his office. The Vice President is also an ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Ex officio chairman is a position someone automatically gains because of another job or position he or she already holds. That's it for today's topic. Here at the end of the video, before leaving, I would like to share few interesting facts with you all. Children, with Ramnath Kovind taking over as India's 14th president, here is a look at some interesting facts about India's president over the years. You might have noticed few in the video also. So before leaving, let's enjoy these few interesting facts. Rajendra Prasad was the first president of India, and he is also the only president who served the office twice, eventually becoming the longest serving president. Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan was the first Vice President of the country and second President of India. His birthday is celebrated as Teachers' Day on 5th September. Dr. Zakir Hussain was the third President of India and also the first Muslim President. Gyani Jail Singh was the first Sikh President of India. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was popularly known as People's President. In 1997, he was awarded with Bharat Ratna. And in the last, Pratibha Patil was the first women President of India. Let us see the objectives that we have done in the class. We have read about the President, his election and eligibility, salary and allowance of the President, powers of the President, in which we have studied about various powers, and then Vice President and his functions. Do the reading of the topics, revise the terms, do the back exercises, and do not forget to follow the school link. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.